Hey YouTube, we've got an interesting conversation to have today that we've been kind of waiting to see how things were going to develop before we went into it. And now that they've been released and some of those details that we've been waiting on have been announced, we're going to talk in full details. You guys are going to get my honest, unfiltered opinion, like usual, about the RLCS Shop revamp, the team decals, the goal explosions, the state of the esport, all of that kind of stuff. We're going to try to go through these in order. We're going to show the decals. We're going to take a look at the ones we like, we dislike. We're going to talk about the new payment structure. We're going to talk about how much they cost. We're going to go through all the specifics of what they are. We're then going to talk about the kind of situation of how the program works, the business behind it, why some have opted out, and the reasonings behind that, primarily Corp, if you guys haven't seen. And we're going to talk about those specific details because I saw a lot of pitchforks of people being like, why weren't they invited? But the reality is Corp goes, no, we value ourselves more than that. We don't want in. Let's talk about why that is, why that might be. And the one thing that apparently no one does, provide a solution. We're going to give some constructive feedback about ways that we could remedy and fix this situation so everybody's happy. And we're going to do it all for free. So if any Psyonix employee or Epic employee happens to watch, here's the details that people probably want. Again, if you just would hire someone to make this their sole job and being like you're the community person for the Rocket League esport, you talk with teams, players, etc., and communicate on a regular basis, I think people would be a lot happier. Case in point, if you would just address the DDoS situation, not even that you have a fix, not even that you have an answer for it, just, hey, we understand it's happening, we're working on something, people would be less pitchforky and trying to burn down the house. With that said, let's take a look at the decals. Let's go through this one by one. So, decal video came out yesterday. Again, it showcases the fact that you can play them as they are universal on just about, not every, but just about every car. Obviously, there are certain licensing rights with certain decals like the Batmobile and stuff like that where you can't. Something you're going to notice very quickly is how short that trailer was, 20 seconds, and how little of vehicles there were. There is not a whole lot of decals that are involved in this shop, and we're going to show you. They did a couple things. If you go into the RLCS and you go into the shop, there is now a new tab called RLCS. It is now the RLCS Shop. They renamed it, and they did a couple things. Number one, they got rid of esports credits. Esports credits are no more. You can use the in-game credit system as you always have. Use code LAWL. It supports me directly. It's greatly appreciated if you do. And you can pick up some decals. There is, to my knowledge, 12 total teams across all regions. That's right, you heard me. 12 across all regions. You got 3 in NA, Genji, Energy, and Space Station. Over in EU, you've got Dig, Mates, BDS, and Vitality. Yes, BDS is back. Yes, BDS is picking up a team and will be competing next weekend. All the rumors are supporting that they're going to be picking up basically what is the EU version of the Snowmen. You guys probably heard me talking about before with Juke, Nico, and Matzer. Extra is probably going to be their coach. And then you got Vitality. Over in OC, you only have TSM. In South America, you've only got Furia. And in APAC, MENA, you've got Limitless, Luminosity, and Team Falcons. Which is crazy because for the longest time, they didn't allow Limitless in. Because for the longest time, Limitless is like, we've been supportive. We've supported a team for a really long time. We do everything we can to support from this region. And you don't give us love and any attention. But now they have a decal. So I don't know what changed. Crazy stuff. If you go and buy a decal, there's 2 purchases you can make. The first thing, you can buy the decal. They are universal. They work for every vehicle, just about. It is 300 credits or roughly $3. If you want the goal explosion, they are 800 credits, roughly $8 or $12 for every single team that you want to support. Decals and stuff work for all of them. Realistically, out of all the decals, I haven't seen too many that I actually enjoy. Obviously, there's limitations with them having to be toned down a bit for Universal. I do like the aesthetic and like the shatter thing. For Dignitas, they've been doing this two-tone color aesthetic for a while. Mates, to me, is pretty bad. It's just, hey, it's pink. BDS continues to hit. I think BDS, probably one of the better ones. Vitality, pretty basic. It's not bad, but it's not great. Let's take a look at TSMs. TSM's kind of cool. I don't mind it. Little checker flag with some different colors. I mean, at least it's got some pop to it. Furia's got chains. They're breaking the chains, everybody. I don't does Furia have like a like a theme or a motto. I don't mind Limitless's. It's pretty generic with the color on top. I wish they would do something with this rather than just a big paste of white. Luminosities is pretty solid. I do like Luminosities. Falcons. Who designed that? Okay. There's like maybe 2 or 3 decals that I enjoy. Space Stations is all right too. So that's what we've got for the decals. Couple things of note since we talked about them last time. There is no sponsorships now on the decal. Organizations in the past once be able to use to sell a sponsorship on the side of the vehicle, which helped them earn revenue as well. That has also been alleviated. 2 things of note and things to remember about this. The partnership program used to be where if you were invited or if you got involved in the decal program, because there's 2 partnerships now. There's the marketing program and there is the esports licensing program. This shop is the licensing program portion. What it basically states now, so before it was, if you're part of the licensing program, you get a percentage of all sales. So anytime your decal is sold, you get a percentage of that sale, you earn money. Now it is a licensing fee where they say we are going to pay you a flat amount based upon how your sales did last year and what we value as your brand, essentially. What we think based upon sales and the stats that we have determines how much we're going to offer you based upon your size, your reach, whatever values you bring, and it is a flat amount. It is no longer based upon how many sales you have. It is just an all-encompassing. We pay for the licensing rights to put your logo, your brand in our game. That is important. We'll talk about that later. The other program, which I've talked about extensively, is their new marketing program, which basically states, hey, if you want a percentage of some of the sponsorships that we get from Blast, if you want a percentage of some of the deals we bring in through Epic like Progressive, you have to sign and adhere to these obligations. We're going to pay you some of the partnership dollars, but you have to make content. You have to do documentary type stuff. You have to shoot and do all this stuff and spend all this extra money. And then we will give you some of the proceeds back. Now, when you're an organization, there is 2 sides to this usually. There is the one which is like, shoot, we need to mitigate costs as much as possible. Taking this marketing program or this licensing program money helps us continue to sustain. We are reliant on it. Unfortunately, that's for a majority of orgs. On the other side of it, there is orgs that come to the understanding that while we will not make money, because let's be perfectly clear, RLCS is a loss leader in esports. Most of the time, based upon the salaries that are provided and the investment it takes to make content and do what it is, you are not making that money back. It's objectively one of the worst. Based upon the partnership programs and the programs that have been built with Epic and Blast and so on and so forth. Obviously, they've only been together for 2 years. Maybe that'll change over time. But hopefully things trend in a positive direction. Most people are not feeling like that's going to happen. But there is some organizations, whether they be new or old, that understand there is intrinsic value in being associated to a developer directly. When they go to the people that they are trying to sell or promote or position to, they can say, hey, we have firm handshakes with the people who make this game. We can go and do other things outside of this. We have support and backing from the developer. We are on good terms with them. We are on good relations with them, and they can leverage that into something more positive. So while it may not be a direct one-to-one of we're in your marketing program, we make money off marketing program, there is things that you can do. There is some developers that do this very well. As many people want to dog on something like Halo and the HCS, Halo Infinite is not doing well. Like, objectively, their player base is low, this and that. But Halo also understands that people are in their partnership program at the highest tier. They give IP licensing rights to. They can put Master Chief on a piece of merch and go and sell it and earn profit. They allow them to leverage the name, the likeness, the nostalgia that is Halo that I grew up with for 30 years and go and make money off of it. That would be like allowing someone like Corp to put an Octane or a Fennec or something on a piece of merch that they make exclusively and then sell it and try to earn revenue, which sounds crazy, but maybe if Epic did that, they could use their reach to help grow the game, even though their greedy little mitts don't get a portion of it. There is more benefits to allowing them to go market and make their money to reinvest back into the title that they're playing versus Epic just saying, gimme, 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 gimme all the fucking time. It's pretty sad. So again, I understand the desire from Epic to be like, hey, we're burning a lot of money. We're doing a lot of things. We've got to tighten things up. But the thing that does not make sense to me is it's like they have no rules, no system, no like guidelines of what is and is not allowed. For example, can any of you go anywhere on the internet and tell me what it takes to get accepted into the marketing or the licensing program? And I'm going to tell you right now, the answer is no, because I don't think there is one. I think it is just a feeling. I think it's just something that they get a whiff of and go, you know what, they'd be fun to include. There needs to be descriptive guidelines that tell you exactly what it takes. If I'm a new org coming in, I want to know what I'm striving toward. Do I need a certain amount of impressions? Do I need a certain amount of followers? Do I need to make sure that I'm in the scene for X amount of years? What is it that I need to do other than you just being like thumbs up or thumbs down, like we're watching Dodgeball and Chuck Norris is like what are we doing here, guys? It's been 13 seasons of RLCS. You would think you have systems in place knowing, hey, this is what you got to do to get in. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you accomplish these things, we do it. And as you build good standing with us, as you show you're paying your players on time, which unfortunately a lot of orgs don't, but as long as you are showing to us that you are doing this over a longevity, we are then going to open it up. Let's say for the first 2 years, you needed X amount of socials, you need to do these things. And once you accomplish that, you then get into the licensing program. Hey, if you hit a certain amount of sales, you've got enough fans organizing and doing things, you've got enough things activation-wise that were enticed, and you've done it for an extended period of time, we're then going to bring you into the S-tier version of our licensing program, where now we're going to give you the ability to go and sell things with our licensing and IP on it. Like I said, the Rocket League ball, the Octane, whatever that may be, some of those assets and the creativity is now on you guys. We understand we're not going to get any money out of it, but we also understand that if you guys can go and market to your fan base, maybe that'll make people more invested in our stuff. Part of the reason why I don't think they do that is because it would hold them fucking accountable. There would be a precedent of like, hey, we need you guys to step up and do something. And right now there's none of that. They're just able to kind of go about and do their own thing. And it's really, really annoying watching everybody on social media just bitch and moan about Rocket League. It's like, dude, if you're not having fun, if you're not happy with the decisions making, stop having Stockholm Syndrome and go away. Seriously. Like, if you don't enjoy something, if I'm watching an anime and I'm like, bruh, this episode was not engaging, I didn't enjoy it, you know what I'm not going to do? Watch episode 2. I'm going to put the show down and watch something else, because there are so many games, there's so many forms of media out there that are good, that will give back, that will make you excited to go and play. Now, I understand Rocket League as a whole kind of has that chokehold on us because there's nothing like it. Like, I don't know another game that instills that feeling of why Rocket League is so good. But if that's the case, make sure you change your mentality and say, Rocket League is a game I just enjoy and have fun playing. And when that goes away because there's too many toxic people, there's Smurfs, there's whatever, and nothing's getting better, time to take a break, dude. Like, I don't know why people keep putting themselves through this stuff. And maybe, no promises that it will, no promises that they will take note, but if all of a sudden their play base just drops drastically, maybe some changes will happen. Or maybe it'll go away and a competitor will take its place. Probably not, because I think they've done a really good job with their physics engine. But, like, these are all things that you have an active say in how you do and what you make yourself susceptible to. With this all rant, tangent, and stuff in mind, there is one org that has made a public stand about the situation. This was one that was infuriating because we saw a lot of people on the timeline being like, there's rumors of Corp not getting offered a spot in the decal program. It's not that they weren't offered, it's just that they value their branding more, so they declined it. Big difference. So the former president of Corp, I think this was like one of the last things that he was involved in before he took a step back. But he says, hey, there's no decal in 2025. I'm making an exception on communication. It was one of my last big operational decisions. We didn't accept the offer for the Corp deal. The amount offered did not reflect what we perceive as the value of our brand. In full transparency, the calculation method seems to be the same for every club. He's saying before it was based on sales with a percentage per purchase. We've already talked about that. And this was on the side of 2024, which we did poorly. You know, we missed a major. We didn't have the greatest results. We weren't as at the forefront or in the face of these fans as we normally were. To which I say, hey, if Epic had better stipulations and guidelines and stuff, they could do more than just a one-year assessment. They could do a multi-year assessment because averages are great. If they had a really, really good 2023 and a poor 2024, slap those two together, get a general assessment, maybe see where they're trending, do some homework on their analytics. And if it's constantly going up, which K-Corp has been, if K-Corp has a streamer that is pulling 70, 80,000 viewers into your streams, maybe there's some value in that in what it does for your brand. Doing it this way is kind of an insult and a slap to the face. And they go, maybe we won't keep doing it no matter how much we love this space. Just a thought. Discussions were respectful. You know, we thank them for the time, but fruitless. We didn't get anything out of it. We simply decided that the offer was too low and it's just not worth it. The decal made in 5 days thing is there's a lot of different iterations of decals that have to be made because they have to go through the approval process with now the what is universal decal. Yes, K-Corp has done a lot of things to help support and do what they can. They have been very forthcoming in their support for a game that financially does not give back to them. I totally agree with that. Business decision that does not erase the encouraging progress made by Blast and Epic, which again, they are trying to do what they can. Production, marketing deals for clubs, improving scheduling and quality of trophies. Yes, these are all things that they're saying positively about Epic and Blast, which I do agree. The production is now cheaper and runs roughly about the same quality. Some of the new marketing deals that are coming in for clubs through their new program that I talked about earlier. How I said there was the licensing one and then there's the marketing one. This is what I'm talking about. That was not a thing before. And then he drops probably what is the hardest take and how he's going to say this. And he's basically like, hey, this year we won't have a decal, but we're going to compensate with a shower of trophies. We're going to win and there's nothing you can do about it. That's like a stamp, like we're out, mic drop type stuff. So a lot of frustration about the DDoS thing, but we all believe this. We all know Rocket League has the chance to be a tier 1 esport. My opinion is Epic is too afraid to let Rocket League be there. They're genuinely nervous about another title, ironically one that they own, outshining their baby that is Fortnite, because Fortnite's their moneymaker. But ain't nobody tuning into Fortnite competitive. Like, bruh, why are you gatekeeping Rocket League esports from being this massive thing when we all know, like, Fortnite's esport is just a marketing ploy? All it is like, hey, showcase this new feature. Like, you put out updates like a week before the tournament and are expecting people to have competitive integrity. It's all it is like, how fast can you adjust to the meta that's OP? Leon could have had a way bigger venue, but the only reason you did it is to make sure that it couldn't overshadow Fortnite, is what it feels like. I just don't understand it. It's like they need to understand. And I remember the hashtag from like Greg and those dudes where it was like Fortnite isn't Rocket League or Rocket League isn't Fortnite or whatever the heck it was. But like there needs to be an understanding that there are two separate entities that both deserve their level of love and attention. It is okay for one to do better and one get like demographic than the other. Like objectively, I think Fortnite is a better game for like marketing deals and licensing deals and like collaborations with things when it comes to like Marvel characters and pop culture and all that kind of stuff. Because there's characters in the game and you can change character models. You can't change stuff like that with a car, even though they're doing TMNT and all these other kind of things. But like, let's be perfectly honest with ourselves. Like the esport for Rocket League is like a potential to be a global phenomenon if you would just stop kneecapping it every chance you got. I don't know who's making the decisions. I do know the competitive team is fighting tirelessly to make this stuff happen. Blast also fighting tirelessly to make this stuff happen. But the people at the very top, I just don't know if you're so out of touch or you're so overprotective or what the situation is, because all the former higher ups at Epic or at Psyonix are no longer there. They sold their shares. They cashed out. They're gone. So like, who is it that is making these decisions and why are they so boneheaded? Like, I just wish they would sit down with these organizations and have a real heart-to-heart conversation and be like, listen, this is our opinion on it. This is why we feel the way that we do. And then the organizations could also be like, well, but this is why it's beneficial. Look at XYZ esport. We've all been in these esports for 10, 20 years. This is why it works so successfully over here. If you would let us do it over here, I promise you, You may miss out on a little bit of the funds, but it allows us to reinvest and put all that time and effort. And now we're your marketing tool. And now we can double down and everything can grow and expand. And all of a sudden it becomes self-sustainable. And this is your most profitable venture. But it's never going to happen if you don't give it a chance. Long story short, the decals are shit. They're underwhelming. It doesn't remedy the situation. People are supposed to look forward to these. They don't. The marketing system is kind of a slap in the face to some of these organizations. The one that took it just desperately probably need the money or understand there is value in being associated to a brand and they can leverage that elsewhere. But man, it is frustrating. This is not usually how I act in a video. I'm usually pretty calm and collected. I try to provide both perspectives, but like some of the decisions we're making are just fucking stupid. Like, just dumb. Like, what are we doing here, guys? It will be to no one's surprise that RLCS dies in X amount of years. Or they go the fully dedicated, no RLCS league, no open qualifier stuff, and it is purely cash cup only type tournaments. And that's it. It's maybe what they want. Maybe what they want. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think down below. Hope you guys are doing okay. Man. What a day. What a day. Either way, we're going to go play another video game. I got nothing else for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord. Let me know what you think. Peace.